Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, sorry, I'm not in my normal studio. I'm actually in a house in Blackpool because Ryland for the last week has been performing at the House of Secrets and he's performing here this week as well. So I've kind of relocated with the family for a week over to Blackpool. So everything will be getting back to normal as of next week, but I'm very sorry I'm not in the normal location. Having said that, if you've never seen the Q&A before, the idea is simple. I go through all of your questions. Now, I normally film this on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so make sure you get the questions into me on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. That way, I'll definitely be able to answer them. If you miss it or I miss your question, I'm very sorry. Leave it in the comments to this video and I'll get to it next week. Also, I'm very spontaneous when it comes to the answers to these questions. I don't research them. You're getting my raw, unfiltered opinion. And if I think something will make a longer video, I will do that down the road. Anyway, with that being said, there's a ton of really great questions as far as I can see. Loads of stuff today, so we're going to have a lot to go through. So without further ado, let's go into this week's Q&A. So the next question is from Sean McNulty Magician, and Sean says, "Hi Craig, I've got a question. During a trick to the bride and groom and giving them something like a bottle as a gift, what would work better, Prosecco or refilled or both?" I'm not really that familiar with Prosecco. I'm not as familiar with it, so I can't really comment on Prosecco. From what I've heard, it's really good, but I've never played around with it myself. In terms of refilled, refilled is a great trick, but the problem with it is when you buy it, it's not a champagne bottle or anything like that. It's designed to look like a Corona bottle, and all of the gimmicks and everything is designed to look like a Corona bottle. So unless you're planning on giving the bride and groom a bottle of Corona for their wedding gift, I would say lean toward Prosecco. One thing is, if you do want to give the bride and groom a gift, and you want to make it a bottle, look into having custom labels printed for the bottle, and have a custom label printed with their names on it and the date. And then what you can do is you can get another label that you can put over the top of that looks the same, but it's a generic label. And then there's a lot of different ways of doing this. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, but you can put that label on top of the custom label, do a bottle production, produce the bottle of champagne or the bottle of Prosecco or whatever, and then you can say, look, this is the label, but I want to make it even more personal to you. Watch this, and you can just take a handkerchief and rub it over and steal the other label. There's a million ways of doing it. But you can actually have that label change to make it look like you've personalized the bottle specifically to them. So if you are planning on doing a bottle production or something like that, that's a nice thing to do. But I'd say in answer to your question, I'd go for Prosecco and not refilled, unless you can adapt refilled to a champagne style bottle. So the next question is from Stephen Peters, and Stephen says, "Hi Craig, do you think you would ever do a book? I'd be the first in line for the definitive petty." All I can say, and I'm not saying any more about this, all I can say is watch this space. That's all I'm going to say. Just watch this space. That's all you need to know. If you're looking for a book, watch this space. Okay, so the next question is from Otar Kramer, and Otar says, "Hi Craig, you mentioned proper microphone technique and the planning that it takes in a recent video. Could you elaborate on what that entails?" Well, this is the sort of thing that I would probably do a longer video on, because a video on microphone technique and on actually speaking on stage would probably be a really good video to do on this channel. So it's probably something that I'll put together in the next week or so. But briefly, the first time that you go on stage, you shouldn't be wearing a mic for the first time. And I've seen a lot of people do that. They've done close-up and they've been put into a situation where they're having to wear a mic for the first time and they don't know how to wear the mic properly. You want to make sure that, I personally lean towards head mics or lapel mics. I tend not to like handheld mics just because I want to keep my hands free, and I've never been a big fan of the thing where you hold a mic in the center of the holder. I've never been a big fan of that. That's personal preference. But if you're wearing a head mic, You see so many people that put the mouthpiece right next to the mouth. And so what happens is that you pick up every little bit of the breathing. It's like, and people feel like they need to do that. They feel like they need to bring the mic closer so they can be heard, whilst in reality, that's not the case. The mic really should be around about down there. And if you've got a beard or if you've got facial fuzz like me, you want to move it away from the skin. It shouldn't be touching the skin. A lot of new people that use mics for the first time, they think that you need to almost swallow the mic, but that's not really the case. You want to have it further away. Make sure that you're doing a sound check before you go on stage. The amount of people that I've seen go to a gig and they haven't done a sound check, and then what happens is the audio is not right, and right at the very beginning of their act, when you really should be making a first impression, it's kind of a case of hello, 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 and it just looks very unprofessional. So make sure you've got a sound check. Make sure that if you've got a sound engineer, they've organized what the sound level should be, or if you've got your own, if you're doing your own sound, make sure that you know what the level should be at. Make sure that you've got that perfect, and it varies from venue to venue. Every single venue is different depending on the space in the venue and the space that you've got, and so on and so forth. Lots of different stuff. And then learn to project. You know, even though you're wearing a mic, you should be able to project anyway. Project your voice and be able to do warm-ups for your voice. You know, it's very important to do that. An athlete would warm up before they go and do any athletic style competition. You know, you see a lot of assistants, all the assistants in my illusion show, they warm up before they do all of the box jumping because they want to make sure that they're limbered up and they don't want to strain something. You want to do the same thing with your voice. You want to warm your voice up before you go on stage. Stuff like that is very important. So I can do a longer video on that, but there's just a couple of points that's worth thinking about if you're actually going to start wearing a mic on a regular basis. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician, and Divishan says, how do you deal with getting caught loading a card or a coin into someone's watch, or if the coin falls because it didn't fit under the watch in the first place? Well, the thing that you need to understand about loading a coin or a card under someone's watch is the only way to get good at it is to get caught. It's why so few people load things under watches. It's why so few people do watch steals, because they're worried about being caught. And because they're worried about being caught, they don't go out there and do it, or they do it and they get caught and they're like, right, I'm not going to do that again. The thing with watch steals and loading things under watches is, if you're going to get caught, if you get caught, you get caught. You're going to have to go through that pain in order to get good at it. I rarely, if ever, get caught now. But that's because when I first started loading things under watches, I did get caught all of the time. So you just get better at it, right? You know, the bottom line is, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody says, hey, you putting something under my watch? Yeah, I am. Did you catch me? Oh, you're too clever. I tell you what, I'll do this instead. And you just move on and you just focus on something else. It's not the biggest problem in the world. It's not like the world's going to collapse if somebody catches you loading a card under somebody's watch. But in terms of how do you deal, what do you do if somebody catches you loading something under there? Just accept it. You know, just accept it. I mean, you could think of a clever out if you wanted to. You could do a switch for another folded card and go, no, I wasn't loading that card, and I was loading a different card in there. Was that not your card? And then doing a spellbound and turning it into their card. There's a bunch of different ways you could deal with it if you really wanted to. But in reality, my attitude is just to say, oh, yeah, you caught me. Oh, my God, you're amazing. I tell you what, let me try something else and just move on. In terms of the coin falling out because it doesn't fit under the watch, this is just experience. You want to get the right type of watch. When I'm doing anything where I'm loading something under somebody's watch, I'm looking around at the right type of watch. And I've got to the point now where I've done this enough times that I can tell. You see some people who wear the watch really loose. That's not the sort of watch to load something under, because it will fall out. There's a very good chance that that's going to happen. You can look around at the group that you're performing for, and very quickly you'll be able to see whether they're actually loading the coin under whether they're the sort of watch that you can load a coin or a card under. The other thing to consider is that it's less likely to fall out if it's a card than if it's a coin, because when the card's underneath there, if it's a folded up card and it's underneath the watch, it's going to open, because that's how a folded up card works. It's going to want to open. So it naturally stays put, easier than a coin. A coin is a very flat disc, right? So it can, if it can fall out if you don't pick the right type of watch. And the other thing is have really good audience management. And what I mean by that is if you're loading somebody's watch, typically you'd ask them to hold their hand out. They'd hold their hand out and you load the thing underneath their watch at that point, right? You don't want them to put their hands down or move their hands around. So audience management, getting them to keep their hands out in front of them, that's really the key to make sure that this works for you. Okay, so Jonah Berg says, what are the best John Bannon books? Well, I'm old school, but I personally think even though John Bannon has brought some amazing material out, and he has, and he continues to bring amazing material out now, my two favorite John Bannon books are always going to be Smoke and Mirrors and Impossibilia. I think that the material in there is incredible, and even today, you could build a act just based on the material in both of those books. If you haven't got Impossibilia and Smoke and Mirrors, I highly advise you to go and beg, borrow, or steal a copy of it, because both of those books are brilliant. Okay, so Jonah Berg now says as well, what are the best self-working trick books? Card trick books that are self-working. Okay, so I always point to Card College Light in this by Roberto Giobbi. That's an incredible book on material that is pretty much self-working. Not a book, but a DVD set. Big Blind Media put out a while ago multiple DVDs on the best self-working card tricks of all time, and there's some incredible ones on there, and it's well worth checking that set out. So go check out go check out Big Blind Media stuff, because it's excellent. And also anything, I always get this name wrong and I apologize ahead of time, Ryan Schultz. I think I've butchered it again, but I'm a huge fan, which is terrible. I always get his name wrong. But anything that he's ever put out, any books that he has ever put out are incredible. And his thinking behind self-working magic is just phenomenal. So I would also go and check his stuff out as well. Okay, so the next question is by Magic James, and Magic James says, hi Craig, thanks for all of this. I have a question about card to wallet. Okay, presuming I have a good card to wallet sleight, what are some reasonable reasons for a signed card to suddenly be found in my wallet? All the routines I've found so far and used seem inorganic. Where'd it go? Oh, it must be in my wallet. Seems cliche and lacking in meaningful patter. Okay, yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I think there's 2 points to this. I think the first point is you don't always have to have a justification for everything. Sometimes magic can just be cool. I mean, I think the reason that card to wallet has become so popular is because it's a very easy thing to carry around. It fits in your wallet, it fits in your pocket very, very easily, and it's very easy to load as well. And also, everybody knows what a wallet is. So doing card to wallet and just having a card appear in the wallet just for the sake of it, I don't really see a problem with that, to be perfectly honest. Having said that, if you want to talk about routines where it's a little bit more motivated, let's do that. So the first thing that I would say is a routine called the emergency card. Now, I cannot remember for the life of me who the emergency card was by. I'm fairly sure that oh my gosh, I read it years and years and years ago, and I've done it so long, I don't think I'm going to be able to. Emergency card magic trick. I want to say, no, that's in case of emergency. Emergency card trick. Is this it? No. If somebody knows, let me know. I have no idea, but let's move on. So the emergency card trick. The idea with the emergency card trick is that you open up your wallet and you say, hey, you're probably wondering, one of the big questions that people ask me is what happens if a trick that I'm performing goes wrong? What happens if a trick that I'm performing goes wrong? Well, it doesn't matter, because I've got an emergency card that always gets me out of trouble. I keep it in my wallet because that way, if I ever need it, I know where it is. You open up your wallet and you show a red back card and it's got emergency card written on the back of it. You say, this is my emergency card. You probably won't even need to see this. I just wanted to let you know. That'll get me out of trouble. So then later on in the set, you're doing a trick and you're using a blue deck, and you have someone pick a card and they sign a card and all of that good stuff, and you've failed to find the card, and it looks like you failed, and oh my gosh, magician in trouble scenario. And then you go, well, don't worry about it, I've got my emergency card. You then reach into your pocket, you pull out your wallet, you open it up, you take out the emergency card that they saw at the beginning, and when they turn it round, it's actually their signed card. Now, the method, as you can imagine, is fairly simple. You have 2 emergency cards that are red back stranger cards. They've got emergency card written on the back. One is in play at the bottom of the deck, and one is the one that you put away inside your wallet, and you just put it into a different compartment. You, at some point, force the emergency card that's in the deck. I use a touch force, a Gary Allet touch force, because it makes them think like they've seen the back of their card. They sign that card, it's lost into the deck, apparently lost, you don't know where it is, and you failed, and then you just palm that card off. You go and do the card to wallet, and boom, the emergency card is actually the card. So that's a nice way of doing it. The other way you could do it, and this is something I've played around with over the years, is by using it as a transposition between a credit card and a card in the deck. So you could use the credit card for anything that you wanted to do. You know, there's credit card tricks out there where like the name of the card will appear on the credit card. You could use a credit card to do the prophecy move and find a playing card using it. But have a reason to have the credit card brought into play. You know, look at Transaction by Paul Fowler or something like that. Do something with the credit card, and then you put it away back in your wallet. And now you're having a card picked, and you say, well, have you ever heard of the concept of a transposition? And you lose that card, you have them cut that card into the middle of the deck. And you go, well, a transposition is where 2 things change places. Like if I put a card over there and a card over there and they change places, that would be a transposition. Well, I'm going to show you a transposition, but I'm going to show you a transposition in a very interesting, different way. Can you put your hand on top of the deck? They do. And you say, I'm going to take my wallet out of my pocket. Can you hold on to the wallet? Which they do. And you say, do you remember the credit card we were using earlier? Well, I can make that credit card and that card change places. Watch, 3, 2, 1, boom. They lift up their hand over the deck, they cut the deck, and when they do, the credit card is now in the middle of the deck. And you go, with the credit cards there, that can only mean one thing. And now they look in the wallet that they've been holding on to. And when they look in the wallet, the wallet now has the signed card in it. So that's kind of an interesting way to do it. Another way to do it, and if you look at Card to Pocket Extreme off the Netrix, you'll see that I actually use this in that routine. I do a card to pocket routine where the card's going into the pocket again and again and again and again. And for the final phase, it's going to go into this pocket. And I tell them openly, it's going to go into this pocket. And I reach in to show it's empty. And I go, oh, my wallet's in there. Can you hold on to the wallet for me, please? And then I pull the wallet, the pocket out so they can see it's empty. I go through the final phase of it going into the pocket, and it's failed, it's not in the pocket. And you go, oh, you know what's happened? It went into the pocket a few seconds earlier. Open up the wallet, and when they open up the wallet, the card's in there. So that's another way of doing it. I mean, I could go on. This could be like a 1-hour video. Of course, I've got a ton of different ways of actually doing this. If you want to see a longer video on this, please let me know. Maybe I can do like a little tutorial special. I think that might be fun. But that'll give you a few ideas. Just think outside the box. If you don't think it's organic, a card going into wallet, think about what's organically inside a wallet and think about what you can do to make it actually work. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought. And if you want to see a longer video on this, let me know. Okay, so the next comment is by Philip Austin. And Philip says, Craig, well, that's another chocolate fest over. Yeah, my diet didn't do very well there. Hope you've had a lovely family time. My question at gigs on functions, I make a point of never performing the same trick twice. But recently at a friend's function, there were 80 plus people, and I found pocket and product handling difficult. What are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on this? I know you don't perform tricks twice at the same gig. Many thanks. Keep the magic alive. Regards, Phil. Well, I try not to perform the same trick twice. Sometimes it happens. It can happen, you know, for a few different reasons. One, somebody's seen me at one group of people and then they come over to another group and go, oh, show them the trick that you did over there. Or the client will do it. The client will say, oh, can you show them the coin trick that they just saw? So there are times, and also like if I'm doing something really visual, like I'm doing a throw up solve with a Rubik's Cube and people see it from a distance, they can turn around and they can say, hey, what did you do with that Rubik's Cube? So there are times when I actually repeat tricks, absolutely 100%. What I would say is you don't have to perform the same trick twice. I mean, I know the people that just have one set and they do one set over and over again. I think that's ridiculous. But, you know, if you've got a ton of routines, then that's absolutely fine. There's no problem repeating stuff. But if you want to make sure that you're never repeating stuff, don't forget that a deck of cards can do 1,000 different routines. You know, you can have a deck of cards and you can go into a Triumph. You can go into twisting the aces. You can go into the last trick of Doc Daily. You can go into cards of pocket. You can go into cards across. You can go into an ace assembly. There's a million different things that you can do. You can literally have a deck of cards and not repeat the same trick twice. Same with coins. You can have 4 coins in your pocket and you can do a ton of stuff that nobody will have seen before. And, you know, okay, so you start with a coins across to that table. Then you do hanging coins to that table. Then you do coins through table to that table. Then you do a coins to pocket to that table. Then you do a wild coin to that table. Then you do a copper silver transpo to that table. The point is, there's a lot of different material that you can do just by using generic props. So if you've got a lot of people and you've got you're worried about your pocket management and you're worried about all the different tricks that you're carrying, just strip down those tricks and just make sure that you're taking props that serve more than one purpose. Look at the quantum deck, for example. I mean, that was a 5-hour tutorial because you can do so much with it and you can vary that trick up from table to table. Yeah, you're using a trick with a blank deck of cards at every table, but each one is totally different. Look at Keymaster. Look at all the different routines with Keymaster. You can vary that up. I'm using my tricks as an example, but you know, it doesn't have to be my tricks. But the point is, I know my material and everything that I've ever put out has more than one routine with it. You can do multiple routines. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably the way that I'd go. Don't beat yourself up too much if you're in a gig and you have to repeat material, because to be honest, it's not really too much of a problem. Okay, so the next question is from Mago Antonio, and Mago says, "Hi Craig, great video as usual. I've never been to a magic convention and I'm considering going to Blackpool next year. What advice would you give to a newbie that will be traveling there alone?" Well, I've done a couple of videos on how to survive the Blackpool Magic Convention, so it's worth having a look at those. Just look on YouTube, just type in "how to survive the Blackpool Magic Convention, Magic TV," it'll come up. But if you're traveling there alone, my advice would be jump into the Facebook group for the convention that you're actually going to. Most conventions have a Facebook group these days. Blackpool has a very big one. Magic Live has a very big one. They all pretty much have a big sort of, you know, they all sort of have this really big Facebook group, and befriend some people. Because going on your own can be a bit of a nightmare getting to know people. And most people at magic conventions are very friendly, but still it'd be nice for you to hook up with somebody that you can meet when you're over there, that you've got somebody who you've built up a relationship with online. So for example, you could ask the question and you could put into the Facebook group. Let's say you're going to Magic Live, for example. You could put into the Facebook group for Magic Live, "Hey, I'm going to Magic Live next week. I'm going to Magic Live in August and I'm going on my own. Is there anybody else going? I'd love to have a friendly face there when I arrive." You'll have a ton of people contacting you. Just reach out to them by PM, maybe jump on Zoom or jump on WhatsApp or something, have a chat with them, and then before you know it, you've got a friendly face when you arrive at the convention. I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice I can give you if you're traveling there alone. So yeah, but other than that, just have fun. You know, it's over very, very quickly. Any magic convention I've ever been to, it's over before you know it. So make sure that you have fun when you're there. Okay, so the next question is from Thomas Shelvin, and Thomas says, "Hey Craig, thought I'd send a funny question in this week for a change. With WrestleMania 39 in the rear view, I noticed that on Thursday before the event, the former wrestler Nigel McGuinness was hosting his own parlor show in LA at the Illusion Magic Lounge." Really? Really? I didn't know Nigel McGuinness was a magician. That's crazy. I didn't realize he was a magician. No, neither did I. So that brings me to my question. Who is the celebrity you found out was a magician and thought, I never would have guessed? Keep up the great work. Love the channel. I think I was the last person to find this out. And for some reason, I've forgotten his name. There you go. There it is. Neil Patrick Harris. How could I forget his name? I've been watching Neil Patrick Harris for years, and I did not realize that he was a magician. I was actually really surprised when I found out he was a magician. Apparently, I was the only one who didn't know because he's quite vocal about it. And apparently he was like a big part of the Magic Castle at one point, but I didn't know that. So for me, the big, and I was a huge How I Met Your Mother fan. So the fact that I didn't realize, and I was a huge fan of Neil Patrick Harris, was quite amusing. So for me, it was Neil Patrick Harris. But it's a great question. Let me know down below, anyone who's watching this, who did you find out was a magician and you thought, wow, I didn't know that? Okay, so the next question is from Greg Machisno. And Greg says, whenever I perform, people are super rude to me. What can I do about this? I always tell people they should enjoy my magic and clap for me. Really, it's just, you need to examine the way that you present your magic. You need to examine the way that you actually perform. A lot of the time, if you're confrontational, it can lead to this sort of thing, unless you can deliver it in the right way. So, like, I have the sort of, you've probably seen some of my live videos. When I'm performing, I'm kind of sarcastic, and it can open up people being rude if they wanted to, but they typically never are. And the reason is, I kind of deliver the lines in a way where people can tell that I'm just very tongue-in-cheek, and I'm also taking the mickey out of myself as much as I am anyone else. I've got a friend who's a magician, and he had an issue when he first started performing because he used to have people do the same thing, basically. They were super rude to him because he was trying to emulate the style of magic that I do. And the problem is he was delivering the lines in a very cutting, insulting way, which put people on the defensive. And it was only when I pointed this out to him and he realized it that then became not an issue. So, you need to know how to deal with people. You need to know how to actually have a conversation with people, how to get people to like you. I mean, that's the hardest part of being a close-up magician. The hardest part is getting people to like you. If you actually think about what we have to do as a close-up magician, we have to walk up to groups of people that have never met you before at an event. You've got to walk up to them. You've got to get them to stop having a conversation with each other, and you've got to get them to start having a conversation with you. And that's not an easy thing to do. That's very, very difficult. And it takes time and it takes skill. Read a book like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and seriously think about how to just get people on your side. Think about all the simple things, like people like talking about themselves. So don't just jump into the magic straight away. Have a bit of a conversation with people. Walk up to a group of people and say, hey, how you doing? How's your evening so far? Have you had a good time? Just don't rely so much on the magic. People need to like you. If they like you, they'll be happy to let you perform, but they have to like you first. And the bit at the end, you always tell people that they should clap for you. Unless you know what you're doing with that, I wouldn't go down that route. Like I do sometimes. You'll see in my videos, I'll say, hey, if this works, I want everyone to give you a big round of applause, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine and all well and good, and especially in places like the UK where people are generally less reactive than other countries. But you don't just want to do that. Just, hey, my name is Craig, clap for me because I am awesome. You kind of don't want to go down that route. So, just learn to win friends and influence people. Buy that book, and that should sort you out. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician, and Divishan says, this is kind of one question split into two parts. Part one, how do you deal with people asking if they can put the card back in the deck themselves without you touching it? And part B, this happened to me, and the person grabbed the deck out of my hands, put it in, and I said to them, sorry, I'm not good enough to find it now. And I just walked off without saying, I just walked off, and they were saying it's not magic. How do you deal with this? Okay, so I have a deck of cards. So that can happen. You can, well, first of all, understand why people are wanting to put the card back in the deck themselves. People are wanting to put the card back in the deck themselves because they don't like to be fooled, or they want to try and work out how your tricks are done. Now, first of all, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Different people like magic for different reasons. Some people like it because it's just something that they enjoy watching. Some people like it because they're trying to work out the secret. They're trying to figure out how it's done. There's lots of different reasons for liking and watching magic, and just accept the fact that some people are going to try and work it out. And when a lot of the time when they grab the deck off you and or they say, hey, let me push the card back in the deck, or I want to put it back in the deck. A lot of the time, it's just because they're trying to work out how it's done, and they're trying to decompartmentalize what they've seen. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, a lot of the time, when people return cards to a deck, they'll cut the cards off. They'll say, put the card back there, and then they'll control it with a cut or with a pass or something like that, right? I first saw this in a Simon Lovell lecture. If you're saying, hey, put the card back there, if somebody says, oh, no, I want to put it back myself, you go, fantastic, where do you want to put it back? And you spread it out, and you say, where do you want to put it back? And they put it there, for example, and you go, fantastic, right there, that's where you want to put it. And you just get your break at that point. Because that's in essence what they're wanting, right? They're wanting to put the card back themselves. They're wanting to control where it goes back. 9 times out of 10, that will solve the problem. Okay, where do you want it to go back? You want to go back there? Are you sure? Okay, you want it to go back there. Boom, I'm going to put it back there. There you go, fantastic. Are you happy with that? Brilliant. Awesome. And now you've got it controlled to the top of the deck. So that's one thing that you can do on it. The other thing that you can do, or there's a couple of other things that you can do. One thing that you can do is you can crimp their card. So let's say, rather than saying put the card back, you say, right, put the card down there in the center of the deck, on the center of the table, and they do. And you say, right, I'm going to put that card back in the deck. And if they say, hey, no, I want to put the card back in the deck, you just pick it up and just give it a little bend there. Just give it a little bend and say, okay, there you go, put it back in the deck. There you go. So I don't know what that card is, the 2 of hearts. Put it back in the deck and mix it up yourself. Give it a shuffle. Fantastic. Make sure it's lost. There you go. Give them another shuffle. Are you happy? Is that card lost? Fantastic. Very good. And so now I can see exactly where their card is. It's about 20 cards down. So about 40 cards down. So all I have to do is cut, and the card's there on top of the deck. And you don't see it from the front. You don't see it from the sides. And you can easily take that crimp out just by flicking it. You can engineer, if you're having this as an issue a lot, well, first of all, examine your own performing style, like I said earlier. But if you're having this issue a lot, you can actually take the card out and give it them, and you can crimp the card as you give it them. So you can just say, touch a card, and they touch a card, and you push it forward. And as you push it forward, you can put the crimp in. Notice I put the crimp in down there now. Now, they won't be able to see that. I've just handed it to them. It looks absolutely fine. But I've now put the crimp in there. So now, when that card, 3 of diamonds, gets put back in, and they shuffle the cards, and whatever happens, all I have to do is take the cards back, and now I can see exactly where that card is. It's right near the top, so I just have to give the deck 2 cuts, and there you go. That'll bring the 3 of diamonds right there to the top of the deck. So that's another way of doing it, which works quite well. If you are constantly finding that this is an issue for you, the other thing that you can do is you can get into the habit of forcing a card every single time, even when you don't need the card to be forced. So if you just do a glimpse of the bottom card, for example, let's keep it nice and simple. You do a glimpse of the bottom card and you say, right, I want you to pick a card. Just say stop. Stop. That's your card. Can you shuffle the cards for me, please? Now, or can you take the card, or I'm going to put the card back in the deck. If they want to shuffle, you know what the card is. So now you can spread through the deck face up, and when I see that 3 of clubs and say, now your card's lost in the pack, right? I have no idea where it is. As soon as I see that 3 of clubs, I can cull it to the top of the deck, right? So that's another way of dealing with it. And then in terms of what you said in the second part, which I'm going to remind myself about right now, it was someone grabbed the deck out of the hands, put it in and said, I'm sorry, I'm not good enough to find it now. Never tell people you're not good enough to find a card, dude. Never tell people you're not good enough to find the card, right? So here's the thing. Here's what you do. There's a couple of different ways of going with this. And the way that I would do this is to carry an invisible deck around with you. Just carry an invisible deck around. So when they've grabbed the deck and they've put it in, so they've just grabbed the deck off you and they've shuffled it and it's lost, right? And you go, right, okay, it's lost in the deck. Ha, now find my card. You just say, I don't need to. I don't need to find your card. What do you mean I don't need to find your card? Well, I didn't tell you this, but I've got another deck in my pocket. And I turned one card over in this deck. What was the name of your card? It was the 7 of diamonds. Because I've got one card turned over in this deck, and the card that I've got turned over is the 7 of diamonds. See, I don't need to find your card because I already know what it is, which is, perfect, absolutely perfect. And that works really well. The invisible deck isn't just a trick as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the best outs in Magic. It really is one of the best outs in Magic. So if they grab it off you and you say not good enough to find it, don't do that. Don't do that. Have an out. Always have an out. I put a video on YouTube a little while ago, how to make sure you never screw up a magic trick. And one of the things I talked about always having an out for every single trick that you do, and thinking about all the different ways that tricks can go wrong, and thinking ahead of time about what to do about that if it does go wrong. And this is the perfect example. So if somebody grabs the deck off you and says, now find it, and you go, oh, I'm not good enough to find the card now. No, have an invisible deck with you. The other thing that you can do is you can say, right, okay. Well, actually, I've got another one here for you. Use a marked deck. Get into the habit of using a marked deck. I don't use a marked deck, but if you're having this problem a lot, as you spread through and they touch a card, you'll be able to. Now, ironically, this is a marked deck, which is funny because this is the maiden back one, so this is a marked deck. But you can, if you use a marked deck, you're always going to know what their card is, right? You're always going to know what their card is. You can just glimpse it as they take it out of the pack. And if they're going to be like that with you, you already know what the card is. So get used to using a marked deck and make sure that every day, Penguin marked decks are very, very cheap. There's some great marked decks on the market. Look at Steve Deller's Night Flight deck. That's an incredible deck of cards. Lots of different ways to actually go with that. But, buy yourself a few marked decks and go for that. But in terms of them grabbing the deck off you and shuffling it, a marked deck would stop that from happening. Having an invisible deck as an out would stop that from happening. The other thing that you could do is you could say, right, okay, I've got a double backer in here and I've got no idea why. The other thing that you could do is you could say, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you something amazing with your card. I'm going to try and find something amazing with you. I'm going to do something amazing with your card. Instead of, you obviously want to see the good stuff. You don't want to see the stuff that's just okay. You want to see the good stuff, don't you? So I'm going to show you something incredible with your card. I was just going to go through and find it, but I'm going to show you something even better. Would you like to see something even better? And they're going to go, yeah. And you go, okay, look, you tell me what your card is, and I'm going to take that card out, and all the other three cards are the same. So if your card's a 7, I'm going to take out the 4 7s. Okay, my card was a 3. Right, okay, I'm going to take out the 3, and I'm going to take out all the 3s. And then you go into something like twisting the aces, but with the cards that they named. Or you go into the last trick of Doc Daly or something. So you act like you're going to go in one direction, but then you tell them you're going to do something even more impressive, which involves you having to take their card out of the deck. So for example, it could be a torn and restored card. I do JC Wagner's torn and restored card all the time. So it could be a torn and restored card. And you could say, I'm going to show you the good stuff. I'm going to tear your card up and show you something amazing with it. What was it? The Queen of Hearts. Boom. Okay. Let me show you something amazing. And you just go into a T&R. Or something like that. Or, heck, just go into a color change. What card? Okay, it's the 5 of clubs. I said I was going to show you something amazing. Watch this. If I take this 5 of clubs and I shake it, it turns into the 4 of spades. Look, that's not special ink. Check it out. Do you know why? The 5 of clubs is in my pocket. It's been there from the beginning. Isn't that weird? So just give them a reason as to why you're taking the card out and kind of go down that route. So there's a few different things for you. Hopefully one of those will work. But yeah, have a look at that video, how to never screw up a magic trick. I think you might find that helpful. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, and Adrian says, hi Craig, great to have the Q&A back. Thank you very much, buddy. My question is this: recently Harry and Lorayne died. I know it's tragic, it really is. I feel like I should step up to troll the Magic Cafe now that Harry isn't able to do it anymore. Incredible magician. I'm doing a video on him soon. Which of his books or which particular trick would you recommend? I would recommend anybody and everybody to buy every issue of Apocalypse, which is a magazine that he ran for 20 years. It's one of the best magazines that was ever published in Magic, and it's been released in hardbound form. And Apocalypse is amazing. I love it more than any other magazine. So I'll do a video soon on the best tricks that Harry Lorayne's best tricks. But for now, I would recommend Apocalypse. Go and get yourself Apocalypse, the magazine that he produced. All of the stuff in there is golden. Okay, so the next question is from Justin Hutchins, and Justin says, "Hi Craig, I've had Apparition since the live launch and it's bloody brilliant. Thank you very much. So much fun to play with. Did I hear you say in a video that you were going to film some more routines with it? If so, when will they be released and can you say anything about them?" Yeah, I always want to update the projects that I put out. So I'm with Alakazam next week. So this is going up on the Sunday. I'm going to be with Alakazam Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm filming a bunch of stuff with them. I'm also doing an academy, but one thing that I will be doing is I will be filming some bonus content for Apparition. So I'll be going there and I'll be filming some extra bits and pieces for it, and that'll just be dropped into your accounts. So it's going to be coming soon. There's some amazing material in there that I'm going to be talking about. So yeah. Thanks for buying Apparition, and we're going to constantly be updating it. And also on the next coin set, which should be coming out in the summer, I'm including a section in there on how you can actually combine Apparition with that coin set as well. So they're kind of linked together, which will be super fun as well. So look out for that. Okay, so the next question is Seth Howard, and Seth says, "Always appreciate your input, Craig, courtesy of the Netrix. My coin slides are on a point where I feel competent, which is why I was asking for coin set recommendations. I currently have just a handful of $half in the quiver, which offers a good amount of material, but I'm looking to expand." Well, here's something for you. I will be doing a Coin Magic Academy. I've done, in 2001, I did a Coin Magic Academy for Alakazam, which had rave reviews. Then in 2001. 2021, I did a Coin Magic Academy for Alakazam. Then in 2022, I did the follow-up. I did a second Coin Magic Academy for Alakazam. And next week, I'm going to be doing my third Coin Magic Academy. I've got 10 routines, none of which have ever been published before. 10 coin routines that are just incredible, and I've never published any of them. So that's going to be going out on Alakazam. It's going to be a live thing. It's going to be going out this week coming. If you go check out the Alakazam socials, you'll know from the socials. I'm sure they'll tell you the exact date. I'm not sure the exact date. It'll either be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but look out for it because I'm so excited about the material in this academy. Okay, so the next question is from Hungry and Hungover, and Hungry and Hungover says, "Hey Craig, I'm super excited as I've just got my first credit in the magic industry. Last year I submitted an idea to the FAST project on Mind Effects by Daniel Dorian Johnson and Michael Murray, shot and filmed a tutorial for it, and it's been added to the project." Dude, that's amazing. Congratulations. It's my take on Di Vernon's Out of Sight, Out of Mind. It works with Stebbins. Michael left it out the tutorial, but I can also deal to the 3 mates with the thought of card. And if you like the core idea, I can send you the video I originally submitted. That sounds great. I love the Stebbins deck. I do a lot with it. Questions. How good did it feel for you when you got for your first credit in Magic? Felt absolutely amazing, buddy. It's the first step to becoming a recognized creator. I do believe that a lot of the people that go out there and try and, release a trick before, I think that the way to do it is to pay your dues. I think the way to do it is to, go on different people's projects and your name gets heard and your name gets mentioned over and over again, and before you know it, people are looking at you as like an amazing creator. It's the way that it's the trajectory that Chris James's career is going through at the moment. You see his name everywhere. He's constantly being talked about on Murphy's and Penguin and various different forums, and that's because he takes tricks and he improves them and then puts out his own handlings of those routines and then ends up on the tutorial as well, which is incredible. So yeah, the way that you're doing it is absolutely the right way to go. Your follow-up question is, could you please do a mini review on my contribution to the FAST project or try to fool Matt with it? It would mean the world to me. I have a whole lot more to give the magic world, and this will be my first and it will not be my last. Yeah, I'd love to. I'll speak to Michael and I'll get the tutorial. I mean, I've got the FAST project, so I'm assuming it's going to be updated onto there. Don't think I've got the tutorial link anymore, but it's got to be somewhere. Yeah, or just send me the video to craig@magictv.org, and then I can look at it that way. Either way, I'd love to do a little video on it, 100%. Okay, so the next question is from Chris Ash, and Chris says, "Hi Craig, it was great having the chance to catch up with you at Blackpool on Good Friday." Same to you, Chris. Thank you so much for coming to Ryland's show. I really appreciate it, and I know he did as well. and thanks for chatting to me. You are the man. Question: Ryland displayed incredible intuition on when he was ready to publicly perform his Miser's Cup, to the point that you witnessed the full performance of the first time when he used it in his Easter set. Yes, yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, Ryland started working on a Miser's Dream, and he's put it into his new show, and he didn't really show me what he was doing. He choreographed it himself, put the music on himself, got the routine ready. He wanted me to see it kind of for the first time. When is it time to perform something publicly? When is it... Is it when you have completely got everything down to muscle memory and a sequence of moves, or is it better to still have an element of nervous apprehension when there's a risk of it going wrong? I think that the best thing to do is to just go out there and do it. You know, people that have been coming to Ryland's show this last run at Blackpool, people like yourself and Mark Waddington, they've all said, oh my God, watching Ryland now compared to even what he was like on BGT, it's a massive leap in terms of ability and performance. And it is. He's become a much better performer since he went on Britain's Got Talent. I mean, he really has. But one of the reasons for that is his flight time. He has been out gigging a lot. He goes to the house, like, look at this run at the House of Secrets. He's done like 8 dates or something like that. That's 8 full 90-minute shows at the House of Secrets. On Saturday, he's doing an illusion show. You know, he's going out and he's performing a lot. The more he performs, the better he's going to get. So the Miser's Dream that you saw wasn't perfect at all. I thought it was really good, and I thought the music choice and the choreography was great. I thought the idea of bringing the kid up on stage and switching the cups as he gets them to hold the cup, all of that stuff, I thought that was amazing. Really well thought out. But I know that within 6 months, as long as he continues to work on it, it's going to get better. It's going to get more impressive. Why is it going to get better? Because he's just going to be working on it. It's going to be making it better, right? It's like his dancing cane. His dancing cane's got better from the first time he did it. Everything that he does is cups and balls. You know, so many people went up to him when he did the bear pit and said, oh, your cups and balls is amazing. It's because he's been working on it for like the best part of 1.5 years, 2 years. And I think that the problem that a lot of people have is they don't ever put material into their act because they're worried, what if it's not perfect? Well, it's never going to get perfect. I can't think of a single trick, excuse me, that I perform now that is the same as when I started performing it. As you perform something, you get better at it. You get better at it. You tinker with it. You change the handling, you change the construction, you change the presentation, you change the patter, and you just make it better over time. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important to go out there and just make it better and make it better and make it better. And you can't do that if you don't go and take the leap in the first place. So yeah, to answer your question, I think the best thing to do is, you know, you get it to a certain point and then you go out and you do it. And will it be perfect? No. But it gives you a good place to start. And then the best way to get better at it is by doing it in front of a real audience. But by the way, Chris, that's a great question. So the next question is, hi Q165, and hi Q165 says, hi Craig, any chance you can devote some of your creativity to the old standby crisscross force? Are there any subtleties, nuances, or other disguises that you can lend to it? I know it's nearly perfect already, but I'm sure you'd be able to write an entire book about it. Thanks for everything you do. I've not really thought too much about the crisscross force. I know that Ben Earl has, and I know Ben Earl's got some work on it, which I haven't read, but I've never actually done anything with the crisscross force. Maybe it's something that I should look at, but I think it'd probably it'd be a long process, because I think it would start by reading Ben's stuff and just looking where he's going with it and then kind of moving it in a different direction myself. But yeah, I mean, I can look at it, absolutely. I do agree, it's almost near perfect, but anything can be improved. So the next question is from the Artist Studio. And the Artist Studio says, hi Craig, I recently saw The Floating Light Bulb by Harry Blackstone Jr. I can't really remember who performed it, but I just wanted to know what your opinion was on that routine. The Floating Light Bulb by Harry Blackstone Jr. was very different to the trick that's just come out. The trick that's just come out on Dealers, which I've got on the way to me, by the way, is... who, oh my gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Who performed it? Let's have a look here. We'll soon find. I'm not going to let this defeat me. I am not going to let this defeat me. The original floating light bulb, where it flew all around the audience, was incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is not that. I don't know where it is. Here we go. Dr. Schwartz's floating light bulb by Martin Schwartz. There you go. Dr. Schwartz's floating light bulb by Martin Schwartz, which looks a little bit like a zombie ball, because you've got the cloth and it's floating underneath the cloth, but the bulb is going on and off, and there's some really funky moves that are being shown in the trailer as well. It looks fun. It looks very, very fun. I don't know much about it, to be perfectly honest. I've ordered it because it looks fun, and I've had a few people ask me to review it, but and it's only just recently come out. It's quite expensive. It's $175. So I don't know much about it. I'll be reviewing it soon, but the original floating light bulb was a stage piece, and the light bulb flew all around the arena and everything was amazing. This is not that. But my opinion on the routine that's just been marketed, I'll let you know soon. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, and David Blaine says, what do you think about Cypher Pro? Can you do a video on this? I've never really done Cypher Pro. I don't even own Cypher Pro, but I have had several people ask me for my opinion on it. So I'm going to get it. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't know. So bear with me and I'll get back to you. Okay, another question from David Blaine. He says, hello again. No one uses mental photography hardly anymore. Do you use this, or are you going to show a performance on your page? I'm actually putting together a project on the mental photography deck, because it's another one of those decks that everybody uses to do the same thing. It's very underutilized, and there's a lot you can do with it. I'm about a year away from it being ready though. So I've got the routines, but I need to work them in. So it's going to be a while before you see it, but at some point down the line, I will be doing a project on the mental photography deck. Okay, so the next question is from Inuit Vass, and Inuit says, hurry up with the Svengali project. We are all waiting. Yes, I know. I promise it's coming. Hassle the 1914. Hassle the 1914 and hassle D Christopher, because it's ready. It's ready. It just needs to be filmed. I'm sure it's going to be out this year. I promise you I will get a wiggle on. Okay, I've got another question here from Sean McNulty Magician. Sean says, I've been playing around with the Cuban bottle and I'm worried about the noise of it when holding the bag or moving. Has this ever been an issue for you? No, it's not an issue, but I perform it I don't do walk around with it. I do it as a one-off piece, either as part of my stage show or as a trick for the head table or the VIP at a close-up job. So I'm not walking around with it and carrying the bag around from table to table, because it's something that I bring out specifically for that one particular audience. But I've never had a problem with it. I've got to be honest with you, Sean. I've never had an issue. Okay, we've got one more question from Sean McNulty Magician. Sean says, hi, Craig. Hope you're well. I know you're super busy. I tried to get in touch with you on the phone a few weeks ago in regards to a trick. I've just renewed my Netrix account, and I know there's a creativity Q&A coming up. Could I bring up my Netrix trick? Absolutely, 100%. And if you try and get hold of me and I don't answer, I'm not being rude. I am literally all over the place. In the day, I have a lot of business meetings when my phone's switched off, or I have to ignore phone calls. And then if I'm filming or I'm doing something, again, the phone is off. And it's very, very difficult for me to, sometimes I'll have my phone off, and when I go back to it, there's like 30 missed calls. And I don't have time to ring them all back. The best thing to do is, if I don't answer, I'm not being rude, just call me back another time. It means I'm probably busy. A good time to get hold of me, unless I've got a gig, is in the evening. But please continue to try and call me. I'm genuinely not being rude. In terms of the creativity Q&A, absolutely bring that trick up, because to be honest, that's what the whole Q&A is for. So the whole creativity Q&A is for. So 100% yes. Yes, please bring that up. That would be amazing. Okay, so the next question and the final question is from Michael Dr. Dre. And Michael Dr. Dre says, hi, Craig, I'm looking for a drawing duplication for close-up or parlor. Is there any technique or product you can recommend? The spectators should be free to draw what they want, so something like the Ostlin duplication system wouldn't work. Thank you in advance. Have a great day. Well, first of all, you've got Peak wallets, you've got Peak devices. All of these fancy Peak wallets and Peak devices will work perfectly well. If you want a super expensive but a super smooth way of doing it, maybe look at the Omni wallet from Pro Mystic. That'll do exactly what you want it to do. But outside of that, the way that I've always done drawing duplication in a parlor situation is by performing Magician's Graphology by Andy Nyman from his DVD set that got brought out by Alakazam, I think. And the Magician's Graphology routine basically is that you have 5 business cards that are handed out to people, or you could use file cards if you wanted a bigger thing, and each one of them draws a drawing, anything they want to, and then you have somebody get them and gather them up and shuffle them and then pass them to you. You then take the drawings one at a time and you work out, based on how the drawing has been done, who drew the drawing. So you do that with the first 4. When you're left with the final one, which you haven't peaked at all, according to the audience, because they shuffled them and just put them down, you say, well, obviously that's yours. That's not very impressive. So I tell you what, can you please come and join me on stage? Do you remember your picture that you drew? And they go, yeah. And you say, fantastic. You take this pad. I'll take this pad. We'll stand back to back on stage and let's see if I can pick up on what you're doing. Can you draw your drawing again? Fantastic. I'm going to see if I can pick up on this. I don't know if I'm right. And you're just drawing their drawing as they're drawing it again. They're duplicating their own drawing and you're duplicating their drawing at the same time. So there's 2 drawing duplications going on. You then face the front and you hold the pads to your chest and you say, I don't know how we've done. Let's turn our pads around on 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And, they could have drawn anything that they wanted to. And it's a very clever way of doing a drawing duplication. But rather than just being the duplication, there's a nice lead up to it as well. So that's the way that I've always done it. But to be honest, any peak device or any electronic device would probably do the same thing. So there you go, guys. That is another Q&A in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with another Magic Live. I'm going to be back at 9 o'clock with another video. Don't forget, at 9 o'clock tonight, I'm going to be back with another review show special. So I'm going to be back again. Thank you once again for joining me. Don't forget, if you want to go check out the Netrix, please do so. Just go to www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. See what the fuss is about. And also, please don't forget that the store is now open. That's at magictv.org. So www.magictv.org. Thanks once again for asking all your questions. It wouldn't be a Q&A without you guys. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.